Hi, I'm Rebekah.
And I'm Larissa.
And we're creatives coming alongside you to learn and grow on our journey to success.
Very well put. And this is Broke at the Oscars.
Welcome to our first ever video podcast.
We
have a video now?
Oh my word.
What?
And Rebekah,
It's almost like we're filmmakers.
I have to give Rebekah a huge shout out because she just set up all these lovely cameras and lighting. I did help a little bit with the lighting and the backdrop.
Yeah.
But she did a lot of work. And it's amazing.
Yeah. I'm very excited about this. And I'm sure this is very entertaining for people listening on Spotify. But if you are listening or on like Apple Podcasts or whatever, you can go to our YouTube channel and watch this episode. See what we look like, see our faces.
Or maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you shouldn't.
Hey, I put on makeup for this.
I did too. So. I curled my hair.
Yeah, go subscribe to us on YouTube. But anyway, so we're trying to, grow the podcast and just, not necessarily numerically, although that would be nice, but just in terms of, I don't know, the production quality of it, I guess, and just trying to constantly make it better. So this is a big step in that direction. And
I've been bucking this step for a while because I don't like change. Sometimes, I mean, I do like change, but sometimes it's like, oh, more work.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Yeah, and I also appreciate all the work you put into like working our website and stuff. I know there's like
it wasn't that much, but
still more to be done. But I know I know you put in a lot of time on that, so appreciate that. And anyway, without further ado, we should jump into today's episode. This week's topic of conversation, which is you can see the drum roll.
Oh, you can.
This is very exciting. It's the world's smallest, least energetic drum roll.
It's like so tiny.
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about specifically film festival / 48-hour film competition that we're participating in.
Yes.
Mostly we want to talk about the 48-hour. We thought it would be kind of fun to do a sort of before and after episode about the 48 that we're doing. So we're going to do one now, which is kind of going to be like, hey, here's all the strategies that we're trying, and here's how we think we need to prepare for a 48. And then we'll do one after we've completed it, and we'll kind of reevaluate and say, hey, this is what worked, this is what didn't work. And hopefully it all works and we just win. That would be awesome. But first to give a little bit of context for just why we're doing this, why we're doing a 48. Well, I mean, not that you need a lot of justification because we're filmmakers, but so there's this film festival that we've both gone to in the past called the Christian Worldview Film Festival. I'm sure we've talked about it before on the podcast.
I think a lot of our guests on are because they're friends from that whole group. And
exactly.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, it's a great group of people. It definitely, ends up becoming a whole lot like a family reunion, which is cool. You get to see people that, you don't get to see from different states or whatever. And so it's cool to just get to catch up with them and, stay at Steak and Shake until 1 a.m. or whatever it is. Man. Just talking and hanging out or
talking until the birds come out.
So that is something, just wanted to kind of promote that a little bit in the sense of, especially if someone might be listening to this who is wanting to get into film but really has no clue where to start. Film festivals are a really great way to start, to just attend. And specifically the Christian Worldview Film Festival has it's kind of broken up into two parts. So the first 2.5 days or whatever it is, they do a guild, which is just a lot of workshops and a lot of, here's how to do specific things in film. And of course, for this one, since it's a Christian festival, a lot of the sessions are about how to be a Christian working in film, which can be a delicate balance at times.
Yeah.
And then the second half of it is like an actual festival. So it's, you know, showing screenings of movies, and then they have an award ceremony the last night. So for anyone who's, you know, trying to get into film and has no idea where to start, I would definitely recommend finding a festival that you can go to and just go talk to people, network, learn from people there. It's definitely just like a great place to get started. And yeah, you don't need any experience, you just need a little bit of money. So
and it's kind of almost like the first 3 days, the conference part. The guild part. Yeah. It's more like a conference, honestly. It's like a conference and guild meshed together. A little bit of a boot camp in some regards. But I mean, I think even, and then, you know, the festival is really great. You get to see the work that other people, that your friends and people above you are doing, and just kind of experience what's going on in the Christian world and what's being produced, and that can give you an insight into what you need to be working on. It's like, oh, I need to be leveling up so I can get to this level here, or I see some issues in some of these films that I'm like, I know I can work to learn from maybe those mistakes, or I can learn from, and there's so much encouragement. It's honestly, I mean, the main reason probably I go is for the fellowship, the community, the people. Yeah. But that's with anything. I mean, that's with any festival. You go and you network, you make your friends, you find kind of your niche of people. Yeah. And then you figure out like, oh, maybe we could work together. Yeah. And then you like work on stuff, and then you put it in the festival and be like, we did that. Yeah. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. And, and it's great to, you know, have your name in the credits as well, and just have people associate you with that film and say like, oh, okay, you know, you did this, and can kind of see like a sample of your work. Even if you know, if you're acting, obviously your face is in it, but even just as crew,
it's kind of like a visual resume of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And especially if, you know, one of your films happens to win an award or something, that can be really helpful for that as well. Just being like, oh yeah, here's who worked on that.
It's one of those places where an introvert needs to go to actually talk to people once in a while. I feel like that's kind of what it is, because I'm really bad at like keeping up with people on the daily. Yeah. I just don't talk to people really. So this podcast has actually been really great, because like now it forces me to, you know, get out and like, hey, let's talk to this person, and it's like really great, and I love it. But I just, unless I have like a purpose, then I don't really just contact my friends even. And so I think the festival, and like even just gathering your people together from your area, even if you didn't have this festival, you had something similar. Yeah, you know, whatever festivals in your area, you know, you gather your people together and be like, let's all reconnect, rekindle that spark between us, that we all have passion for something, and like, let's have a conversation. So I think that's valuable, and in any area, not just this festival, but like that's
totally
festival.
100% agree. All of that to say, we're doing a 48-hour film competition coming up in like a couple weeks. Coming up really fast.
And it'll be my first time ever doing a 48.
It's only my second time participating in one, and I know you've been doing a lot to sort of head it up and I guess produce it. So do you want to talk a little bit about just like what you've been doing to prepare in terms of like gathering locations and people, and like what all goes into preparing for 48?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a pro at it, because this is my first time. And really, I think really this is my first time producing something, at least at this level. I mean, versus, you know, just, hey, let's make a movie with, you know, family, siblings, or like some friends. And it's like, that's not really producing, because I mean, it's just really off the cuff. I mean, it's kind of, but anyway, this is where it's like, I'll actually have a credit for producing. And I've been pursuing acting and working on that, and also I'm very interested in the writing aspect. I'm also doing writing, And, you know, I really want to pursue working on directing as well. So I have projects that I've written and I want to like learn to do directing better. And I always thought that I would pretty much hate producing.
Yeah.
You know, for several years. I mean, even while I was gaffing, I was like, yeah, I'm not producing. That's stuff. That stuff
so funny.
Sucks.
Yeah.
There's all this paperwork. I think I really started to hate it because I worked as an assistant casting person.
Oh yeah, like pretty early on, right?
Casting.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of paperwork and very stressful and like, yeah. Anyway, so I think just seeing that side of some of the paperwork just was like a really bad taste in my mouth for paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Plus, I mean,
paperwork is the worst.
It's not really the most exciting thing you can do is, you know, organizing and like sending emails and we're going to send an email to you now. But actually, I really like producing.
Yeah.
Because, and I think I've discovered that I really like connecting people with people.
Yeah.
And I like building teams. And so it's actually been a lot of fun to gather people and like, oh, who can we get to work on this? And like they say yes. It's like, of course, I mean, it's all like friends and no budget basic. Well, we do have a small budget, but like we're not allowed to pay anybody. So, you know, so it's kind of like anybody who will say yes is basically part of the team. So this is an easy production as far as that goes. But
yeah,
it's really cool to be gathering your people and then kind of your assets, your resources, and that's stuff that me and my co-producer are still working on, you know. And I had just a quick location scout today with a friend from church, so she is letting us use her house, and I was taking pictures. And I think that's really cool, is to gather your team and to gather something together, and then to start thinking about what we can do. And of course, this is different from a regular film because we would already have the script.
Yeah.
We would be able to like already know exactly what locations, we would know exactly what actors, what props. I would be able to like have things in stone. This is very like, oh, we don't really know
anything.
Let's just, you know, do some brainstorming. We've just done some dumping. We're just going to gather as much as possible and see what happens. But yeah, it is. I think I actually enjoy the paperwork side and the organizing side more because it's the job and it's not, you know, my life.
Yeah.
I don't think I would enjoy doing this on the regular in my own life, but it's a thing. Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I would say, like, you know, just from the little that I've, you know, experienced, just seeing you like doing the producing or just the conversations we've had. And it's, I don't know, it's been cool because it seems like it does really excite you, at least certain parts of it. And just like, parts of it, for sure. It's cool to just, I don't know, it's cool to see people enjoy what they're doing. Yeah. And so, yeah, I appreciate you, you know, taking the reins and heading this up, but I'm also glad that, you know, you're enjoying it.
Yeah. So, and it's cool to be learning some of the basic things firsthand on something like this, where it's pretty easy and it's not a budget, so you don't have to worry about like rates and all that. But you know, this kind of stuff excites me as far as like, paying day rates and getting people what they're worth and just that whole conversation. Because I mean, I just get excited when you can give people what they're worth. And you can pay people. And it's exciting to like actually be kind of making a miniature film set. So it's like what we have basically all the crew members, staff, but I'm like, oh, we should get a storyboard artist, we should get blah blah blah, we should get blah blah blah. And I'm like, and then somebody was like, I don't think we need those. I think it was you. She was like, I don't think we'll have time for a storyboard artist. But we have like a set medic and stuff. We have like, I'm excited because we're gonna have hopefully Diego on if we need help with stunts. And I'm like, all these cool things. And like, I don't know, it's exciting to be finally in a position that I can actually have control over building a world that I want. Yeah. Because we've talked a lot about the ins and outs of filmmaking and what's good and what's bad. But at the end of the day, it's like sometimes you have no control over that. if you're a PA, you have no control over how much pre-production they put into it.
That's
I mean,
true.
you just can't. You do your job, put your head down, and call rolling.
See, I always like to do it rolling with my head back, but I guess if you yelled rolling at the ground
into your walkie, so your head is down, it's like rolling like that.
No, as a PA you don't yell rolling into the walkie.
Oh yeah, I guess you don't.
So
that's
much,
the AD.
Yeah,
never
there'd
mind.
be so much keying.
Somebody was keying.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, shut up. So anyway, it's just very cool to be kind of putting into practice the, they say be the change you want to make in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what excites me
Yeah.
is when I can like take a very small step,
A small bean of a step. It's not even how you're supposed to use that phrase. It's so bad.
A little small step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And be putting, I mean, we're having friends on, you know?
Yeah.
But to be making it just a little bit on the more of the professional side so that you can be like stepping it up and slowly step by step you'll make a what's that?
Progress. You'll make a single progress plus 1 XP.
No, you'll make a bar. I think a standard.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Little by little, you'll have a standard, and those you'll bring people up to your standard.
Yeah.
And little by little, that standard will grow, and you'll be able to like bring your people up with you, and slowly start to do what we want to do, and to do things right. And I think that's very, very exciting.
Yeah. And it's also just like a really great, excuse to make a film.
Yeah, it is.
That can be, pretty low budget because, like you said, can't pay anybody. And, like, there's obviously so many restrictions put on it. It's like, okay, we're only going to be able to do so much. But it's a really great excuse to make a film and to, get closer with some people that we've worked with before. Or even, there's a couple people, I think, on this that I've never worked with before.
Yeah, same.
And even some people I don't even know, I think. So it's just cool to, like, just use this as an opportunity to build those relationships and also like a cool way to have a film shown at a festival with
provided it doesn't
relatively that's true, that's fair, with relatively minimal effort, like not to say there's no effort because obviously like there's a lot that goes into it, but compared to, like you said, a film where it's like, okay, let's coordinate all this budget and all these things, Anyway.
And that's for sure, that's another thing that I'm still going to need to learn to grow into that. And the whole like gathering investors and star names is like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
There's a show that I'm co-writing with one of my really great friends, and so I'm like, oh man, we gotta attach. It's like I'm gonna have to talk to I gotta build my pitch deck. I gotta talk to investors, like attach star names. Who do we know that's a star?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
I'll act in it for you.
Oh, good.
You're welcome.
Wow. I just I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Well,
welcome to Hollywood.
Yep. Are you welcoming me or?
I don't know.
Okay.
We have this nice backdrop.
Yeah.
No, it's
That's
really
true.
not. It's
You're really
Party
missing
City.
out if you're just listening to the audio of this. I do have to say.
It's a pretty great setup.
Yeah. We look like we're on The Tonight Show.
I know. That's what I wanted. That's why I got this backdrop. I was like, I want to be Jimmy Fallon. Because I love that guy.
Oh, man.
Actually watching the Jimmy Fallon show, like, and watching him interact with the actors, like, really inspired me to actually become an actor.
Really?
Yeah, because
That's
I was just like binge watching anything Jennifer Lawrence on YouTube.
Yeah.
For hours.
Yep.
But I watched a lot of the Jimmy Fallon show and like the clips that were on YouTube or whatever, and it was just very cool to see how personable, like, he is, like how conversational and personable he is with people, and how like normal these celebrities are, and it's like they're normal people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a normal person. Hey, I mean, why not?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it started.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm not a normal person anymore, but
Yeah. Right. Now you're a celebrity.
now I'm a celebrity.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not. No.
Big shot star. I really appreciate you being on this podcast.
Oh, my word. My pleasure.
Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're like
so much.
producing a 48-hour and all that.
Yeah, I know. I had to drop out of a red carpet showing.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
I'm just suddenly northern now. I don't know why, but all celebrities are northern. That's very false. Some celebrity's gonna like listen to this. Jennifer Lawrence, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I love
celebrity's first exposure to us, and it's like
I didn't
highly
mean to
offensive.
You.
Oh my
Jimmy,
goodness.
if you're listening out there, I love you so much.
We're so sorry, Jimmy.
Hartness.
I don't know. I just the name Jimmy. Like, I'm not thinking specifically of Jimmy Fallon or anybody, but the name Jimmy is just like a really great
It
name.
really is a great
like,
name.
Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
No.
Why, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Why have you done this?
Sorry, Jimmy.
Okay, and that's the end of our podcasting career right there, ladies and gentlemen. Cheers.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
We got one video in, and we're already canceled.
We're canceled. I mean, this is episode like 47 or 48, I think.
Oh my word.
Yeah, we're getting close to 50. I've been doing this for a hot minute.
We're close to 50.
Yeah, so close I can taste it.
Wow.
But anyway, speaking of 50, wait, is this episode 48 and we're talking about a 48-hour film that we're working on?
Wait,
that would be amazing. I think it is.
Look it up. Hold on.
Yeah.
For a second. That is actually really ironic.
I'm
that
just
we
gonna
just
put up
did that and then didn't even know.
Yes, this is a
hang on here.
Please wait music. Yeah, this is episode 48. This totally is.
Oh my word, it's 48 talking about
amazing.
48. Oh, 48.
I mean, we planned that totally.
We did.
This is intentional.
Yep.
Anyway, to get back to the 48. Circling back.
I just use your words now.
Yeah.
This is bad that me and Rebekah have been roommates for how many years?
Almost
and
3 years, yeah.
Everything she does is magic, and I copy it, basically.
I'm just so cool. Yeah, no, it's actually a lot of things that I say and do are things that I just copy from other people that are funnier than I am.
My word.
So I give off the aura of just like being very cool and funny sometimes. Not always. I definitely have my moments that are not cool.
I'm sure we will discover.
Yeah, anything. Basically, what I'm trying to say is anything cool or funny that I've ever said was probably stolen.
All right. Well, good to know that my roommate is a plagiarist.
So did you want me to help write the 48?
Oh,
or
no, that's okay.
Oh, are you sure? Because it seems like maybe
right.
like, to just lean into my like specialty and skill set just because I am so funny.
Actually, that would be funny if I had you write a script. That would be.
Yeah, it is really funny when I try and write scripts. You're not wrong.
We should do something that you write though sometime.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I have some stuff that it just needs some help from someone who knows what they're doing.
A little bit of help.
No, but we should probably actually take a break to kind of do our
I need a break.
our little ad or whatever. But yeah, when we get back, we're gonna talk about some more like I guess specifics about the 48, just like what we're prepping and kind of like what goes into prepping it and just specifics of like people, places, things, what we're trying to prepare and our strategy going into it in terms of the story, because I don't know, we don't really know anything. So
right.
So we'll take a quick break and be back with that exciting update. I don't know. And we're back.
Oh, that smells good. Oh. Wow. I'm gonna singe my nostril hairs there for a second.
Oh my goodness.
I love this video podcast. You can do so many weird things that audio people will be like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
Oh man, poor audio people.
Audio
people suck.
No, they don't. They're wonderful people. You should never speak badly about them.
I'm so sorry.
You suck.
That's fair. It hurts, but that's fair.
All right.
Okay, well, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for coming back after the break.
Thanks for not turning us off.
Yeah, especially after after I insulted everyone who's listening.
That's valid. A lot of that's valid.
Yeah, I feel like we should start talking about the 48 again before say something else that I shouldn't say.
So you were talking about organization and lists of people, things, and other nouns and pronouns. So there's the thing is like it's a 48 and we have to wait till it starts before we can like really nail down our story, because it's got to be based on this particular 48 is like based on like it's particular Bible verse, and then there'll be like, I don't know, things about it that we'll have to include, like props, or like special effect or something about the film that is very specific. So it's like we can't really build a story really until we know what it's about. Otherwise, we'll just be like, oh, we're gonna make this story, and then like just kind of make it fit, and that just doesn't work. Your story should flow, and every thing should make sense. Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna make a mistake in this area, but you know, we're gonna.
Well, 48s are a great place to make mistakes. So, yeah, but I think, you have kind of narrowed it down to a couple different genres, right?
Well,
at least somewhat.
I mean, in my head, I think we have.
Okay.
I do need to have a meeting about this and just kind of like, because my intention was to have like 3 set genres, 3 set almost like story options where it's like, no, we could do this story or this story or this story. And that has a lot to do with which locations we get. So I just got a house location. We have like this boxing ring / grunge kind of location, gym atmosphere. We have like a lot of outdoor spots, and we have, you know, another interior. We have a couple interiors, a couple exteriors, some really, really cool options for some really cool exterior shots. I shouldn't be giving away too much here, because somebody else in another competition might steal our locations or something. Probably not, but
just in case.
Yeah, so the thing with the deciding on stories is we have to understand what we can do, what's viable. So that's why it's very important to like find as many locations, and from our locations choose the story, because I mean, if we don't have the right location, it's just not gonna
play.
It's not gonna fit. So if we have our whole idea and we decide we're gonna make a story, you know, wrapped around a coffee shop, and I don't have a coffee shop, then I mean, making a coffee shop in your kitchen is probably not really gonna sell. I mean, it could sell,
but it's just a huge burden on like art department, and when you have such a limited time, it's like maybe
or hospital. It's like you have to make sure that you have enough good assets to be, for your story to be viable. And really, this is working in reverse. In the other way, the correct way, it would be having their story first and then finding the perfect location. We're doing it very backwards. But I guess,
but that's how you have to do it.
I mean, that's 48. Kind of how you have to do it. And
that's why it's cool to have, you know, as many options as possible going into it, where it's like, okay, we have all these locations, and we may only end up using, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 of them or whatever, but it's so you still have some flexibility with the story. But 48s are definitely kind of doing backwards in a lot of ways. So could you talk a little bit about like how you've been I don't know, like contacting people, like how have you been, you know, preparing people for being on a 48 in terms of, you know, like we've been saying, normally you'd have like details, like here's a script, actors start memorizing it. But like, how are you setting people up to work on this?
So basically, and I mean, I still have to email our whole team, our crew people, and get everybody on board with that. But I went ahead and got the actors that we kind of have talked to, and like, you know, we have a little pool of actor people, and I sent them all an email, and I got, you know, their availability, number one.
Yeah.
And I got like, if they have any assets to bring the table. So any locations, any cool abilities. Our co-producer brought out, like, ask people if they have like health issues where they can't do a certain thing, or if they do stunts, or if they, you know, and I asked if they have any props that would be maybe valuable to bring in, like random outfits or like prop guns. A lot of people were like, we have prop guns, which is like really, really cool, because I don't have any prop guns.
Classic Christian
I don't even
filmmakers.
have any real guns.
Yeah.
Christian. But then the most important thing that I did was for every actor, because we can't go through the whole casting process. So it's like, it was kind of an idea that I had, was to ask them what are their top 3 acting strengths. So do you make a good doctor? Are you really good at comedic timing? Or are you a dramatic actor? So like your top 3 characters, really. So like you play a doctor, you play a villain, you can't play, why do I keep saying K? I don't know. You can play you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's really cool. And so I guess that'll be a factor in writing the script. So it's like you're kind of, again, doing things backwards and writing the script around your locations and your actors. Well, to a degree. I mean, I know we have several actors, so it's like we don't have to, you know, we have a few different types, and it's like you can kind of choose whatever works best. Yeah. I think really, I'm not doing the actors as much backwards. It's more like, what do we have? We can build a story. And then from there, I mean, I think it's all understanding your talent pool. Like, if you know, okay, I don't have triplets, so I can't write a story about triplets. So if I know I already have this talent pool, that gives me a leeway into like, yes, this is viable. I'm going to write that story. But like, as far as like who gets cast in those roles, say you have 5 guys lined up. Well, okay, so I can write at least a story where there's a trio of guy friends. But I don't know who, 3 of them. Yeah, exactly. You know, who's going to play those leads, who's going to play the female love interest or whatever. So I think it's more about like, write the story and then decide exactly what you're going to do with the people. Unless you have like a situation where like we have a guy who's probably coming in from like way states away, and it's really, really cool. But in those cases, then it's like, well, we're going to prioritize you get that role because you're coming all this way. That's cool. So yeah, that one is a little tricky. But I think, I mean, I'm an actor, and I'm like, I don't want to cater too much to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, it's the story is king. The story is first. And then we once we find the story, then everything else will fall into place. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's a great way to approach it. Yeah. But it's super valuable to be having like your key people. So we have our AD, and like I have you as DP. So like from the get-go, as soon as we get the thing and we can like decide on what story we're going to tell, we like get the writer in the writing room. We get that writing going, and then we have like the essential personnel talking. And I want you to talk about this too from your side. So the AD can be talking about, okay, we're going to see, you know, from the breakdown, from the script that we have working, we have these 3 scenes. What order are we going to do them? We're going to call our location people maybe and see, oh, you know, when can we film here, or when's the best lighting situation to do it if we want to film it in the evening in this exterior situation versus the afternoon, or like thinking about the traffic issue, because we do live in the Atlanta issue. It's like the Atlanta area. It's like, if driving all that way to South Atlanta, like when's the best time to not be all stuck in traffic and lose so much time. So it's like a lot of those kind of contingencies, and like the faster we can make those decisions, and like the earliest we can make those decisions, the better. Absolutely. But then like after those decisions are made, like after the key people do their thing, and after we have, and I'm like, I think I want to just like cram so much into those precious few first hours before we really start filming. And I don't know if it's all gonna actually happen. I'm like, I want to have a table read. Everybody discusses their thoughts and opinions, because like after like we green light on that script and we get stuff organized, like
we won't have time for like discussing a bunch of line changes. It's like, oh, actually, I think this should happen. Like, no, we have to all be on board. And like, the more we can have the communication ahead of time and make sure that everyone's good to go. The better.
Yeah. I mean, unity is important on any film set, but I feel like especially, that's a great point that you bring out. You know, on a 48, it's like you don't have time for a lot of different opinions even. So to a degree, you just kind of have to trust those people that are in the leadership position, like trust the director to make a good call, and trust the writers to write it well. And and you know, just in terms of going into it from like the DP's perspective, I'm very excited. This is like one of the first things that I've actually DP'd, which is really cool. I've done a lot of like camera op stuff or just like AC things or whatever, but so this is like, you know, a great opportunity to try new things, I guess. But so a lot of the, you know, I don't know, I've been thinking through like how to go into this just from a DP's perspective. And there's a couple of major things that would be cool to talk about just in terms of strategy. So the first thing is, I guess, like while we're on set, doing specifically lighting, because I know on set, you know, lighting is, I mean, it's super crucial, but it's also very time consuming. So, you know, my goal, I really do like a lot of like natural light, or just, you know, at least feels very natural.
Motivated.
Motivated. Yes, exactly. So we'll probably try and play that up as much as we can, of course, depending on the script and, you know, what genre we're going for. But the main thing is that we want to go into it and light for the scene as opposed to for the shot. You know, that's I've noticed, as you know, just being on set, and especially in the little bit of AD work that I've done, a lot of the time just goes to tweaking for the close-up or whatever. And you know, if we have time, we could maybe do some of that, but definitely the goal going into it is let's light for the scene and then let's just shoot it as quickly as we can. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to have a 2-camera setup. We're still kind of working through some of those details, but if we could, that would be amazing. But so that's kind of the main strategy going into it, is just light for the scene, just shoot it, you know, as quickly as possible so we can get as much coverage as we need. Because that's the other thing. Like I've worked on one 48 film, which was a great experience, and I loved it and loved working with everyone on that project. But the scene at the end of the film, which is like almost, it's maybe like a third of the film, because it's like 7 minutes is the total running time for the whole thing. And so the final scene is just all of our cast members, which it was like 7 of them or something.
Oh, wow.
They were all in a room in a circle and having this conversation for like whatever it was, 3 minutes or whatever. And it was just a big dialogue scene, and we just didn't really have enough time to get like totally enough coverage for it. And I was the editor on that one, and I know that was like a big struggle as we were trying to edit. Was like trying to come up with creative solutions, and you only have like, you know, 7 hours to edit the thing.
Right.
So it's like trying to I don't know, just come up with a creative solution quickly. So the goal would be to, you know, to leave more time to get more coverage as opposed to setting up lights and tweaking things. So that's a lot of the strategy going into it. And then also another big thing is just I don't know, managing your sleeping time.
Ooh.
Because and I mean, that's just something that's, you know, tricky on any 48. But for me in particular in this one, so I'm DPing and then I'm also going to be editing. So
very tricky.
Very, very tricky.
Why have we done this to you?
No, it actually I think is going to work out okay. So kind of my thought on this is that, you know, obviously I can be sleeping while they're writing the script. I don't need to be like in the room for most of that, but I do need to get up early because like as soon as they're wrapping up or done with the script, there's a lot of conversations that need to happen. So first talking with the director, just, you know, getting her vision for like, you know, making sure we're on the same page with how we're going to tell the story, just stylistically and all that. And then I also want to sit down and try and come up with, I guess I'll call it a loose shot list, because I don't know, my style of doing camera work is always like go in with a plan but be flexible. But obviously on this as well, there's not a ton of time to like sit and debate and what if we did this? So definitely want to go in with a plan after we have the script, but still with flexibility once we get there to be like, oh, actually, let's grab this shot. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, at least because you're talking about coverage. So like at least having.
Exactly.
Okay, I know. So that when your brain is fried, you can look at a list and be like, oh, have I gotten this medium shot?
Yeah.
No. Okay. At least you have to get a medium shot or
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yep. And so then after that, probably have a conversation with the AD to talk about like how many shots we need and when we're doing things like you mentioned, what time of day are we doing things like if we want the sun to be in a certain place. Also talking to the script supervisor to just make sure that it's clearly communicated to her what the shot list is so that I don't forget anything. Because like you said, I can get very wrapped up in like, oh, let's get this shot, or just you're tired and your brain is fried. And so Scripty is very critical, I would say, for a 48. So
and an AD.
Yes, and an AD. And then lastly, also talking to my team, if you will, which is going to be, I think we're going to have a gaffer and then a camera op. So just working to talk to them and make sure we're all on the same page about the plan. And so then we'll shoot for however long we go out and shoot things. And then coming back, I'll probably sleep while it's ingesting, probably grab a few hours there and then jump into the editing process, which is going to be fun. It's going to be where it all comes together. So that's a lot of my strategy going into it. And we'll see how it plays out.
Speaking of the lighting of the scene, though, I think it's what you said about lighting for the scene and not for the shot. I mean, both are technically valid, but especially if you have a 2-camera setup, you can't light for one and then the other one is just all, I don't know, blah. You have to light. That's the whole thing about like you light for the motivation of like what lights are present, the ambient lighting, and then your keys, your to make sure that your people are well lit.
And I mean,
coverage.
To a degree, it depends on the show that you're working on. Because, like, some things you want it to feel very natural and, like, almost, I don't know, gritty maybe, or just, like, realistic, like, real, like one of those real dramas or something. You don't want it to feel lit. But then there's other things like a soap opera or something, that has a very specific type of lighting where it's like, okay, we're in a studio. But, for the 48, we're going to go with natural lighting and motivated.
I think it's also important that you're going in with an intention of making it very naturally lit, because if you don't have all the because they say like you just get a good camera or you get like the full lighting package. I mean, you technically could have both, but like if you have to kind of think about one or the other, which one would you choose? And if we have not so great of a lighting package, then your intentionality with camera needs to be enough to compensate for that. So I think that's really cool. Also, I had another note. I feel like I kind of like put down the team in earlier because it was like people might grumble, and it's like I think having the as much communication beforehand as possible will help everyone be on the same page.
For sure.
But I mean, on the other hand, if there's a lot of discontent or disunity, well, maybe the leadership needs to take a chill pill and like realize that everyone's here to kind of just have fun. And it doesn't need to be that serious. It doesn't need to be this big thing that, oh my word, everyone's arguing about this thing.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, maybe we can put ourselves aside and focus on the people, because it's the relationships that matter so much more than filmmaking. I mean, than anything. So I just wanted to caveat, because I feel like I said that poorly.
And I mean, I feel like the team that you've put together, at least thus far from everyone that I've heard, like I think everyone is very professional and will do a really good job, and also like hopefully know when to speak up and when to let someone else make the decision, because they're definitely, like, I understand your point about, you can have too many people where it's like, oh, if you get too many opinions or whatever, but I think we're gonna be fine on this one.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I think people are gonna be really great.
Yeah. I'm really excited to do it, and yeah,
I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, thanks for letting me DP.
Oh man, thanks for trusting me to help with producing and directing and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I think you're gonna do a fantastic job.
Thanks. I think you're doing a fantastic job. So
thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah, we'll have to, once it's done, we'll have to, I don't know what we can do about if we can post it online, what the rules are. But if nothing else,
after the fact, I think
they might post it online as well. We'll figure out a way to like share it with people listening to this podcast.
If it's not good, it's going right to the trash.
Throw it on the ground.
Really. Be like, we learned a lot. You're not going to see what we learned, but we learned.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we should post it even if we failed big time. Be like,
that's true.
Bro, guys, we had so much hype.
Yeah.
And like, we crashed and burned really hard.
Oh man. Yeah, but definitely I think, once it's done, once it's in the can, I think we're gonna do another episode about like, here's what worked, here's what didn't. Maybe we can share some snippets from it, or
maybe we could like
stories.
Have a BTS photographer sharing some things.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely keep you guys in the loop, but I think that was pretty much it that I had for talking about tonight. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about in regards to what we're doing to prepare for the 48, or are we prepared for the 48?
I'm not doing enough, that's for sure.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not doing enough, but
it's like you have, well, with this particular thing, it's like you feel like you haven't done enough.
Yeah, because you can't be prepared.
Not a lot you can do, so it's like maybe I'm being over prepared.
Yeah,
honestly, maybe I'm taking this way too seriously, and I need to just like chill out for a second. This is just a 48. It's not like primetime television, or anything like. Well, actually, never mind. This is primetime television, everybody.
It is. No, it's definitely like, obviously we want to do our best, and we're gonna try and win. But yeah, at the end of the day, it is a 48. So it's not like, if someone sees it on your resume or something and they watch it, they're not like, they understand that like, hey, this was made in 48 hours. Yeah. So there's a little bit more grace there, I guess. But
yeah. I think the most important thing for me anyway, and maybe not everybody, but for me, it's not even the winning. Like, I guess, I mean, it would be very cool to win. I guess I want to win, but I think it's more of a reward when the reward, I think, is the making of the film, and that we accomplished it, and it satisfies us.
Yeah,
like to look back on our work and be like, that was good. We did some good things, I think. Yeah. I mean, I think it's not going to be perfect, but to also have an experience with people makes up for the fact that maybe some things weren't great about the film. So it's like, oh, that film was really great. There were some things that weren't so great, but we had a great time. Like, I feel like that all is like the biggest thing.
Yeah. That's cool. It's a great attitude to have going into it.
Yeah. And to have a story that actually could impact somebody.
Yeah.
And like to be used of the Lord is what I need to be pursuing more. To be thinking about the audience and the story that I can tell is very, very powerful.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Well, on that note, I think we should probably wrap it up.
We should probably
for this
wrap
week.
it.
But yeah, thanks
Put it to bed.
To everyone who listened, and if anyone watched our video podcast, thanks for being here.
Look at the backdrop.
Yeah, look at the
Hollywood.
Yep, the Tonight Show setup.
Tonight we interviewed
ourselves.
Rebekah Pruitt and
Larissa Loeffler.
Give a big round of applause for these two ladies. I almost said gents.
Oh no. Oh my goodness. Well, I think it's fitting that we should end the podcast on a weird note.
I think it's very fitting. We are weird. Yep. This is a podcast.
We're just quirky. We're just not like other girls, you know. Okay, yeah, we should.
We only wear pink on Wednesdays.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, cool. Well, again, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. like I said, we'll update you after we've done the 48, and we'll see how it went. But until next time, we'll see you at the on set. We'll see you.
We really gotta unify our voices here on this.
Yeah.
Which is it?
I like we'll see you on set.
We'll see you on set.